Howdy, y'all. Here's another one for you. I think this will be a quickie, but I'm not sure. I've had quite a few people request that I do how to videos. During the springtime, when I was doing a lot of my projects, people request that I do how to videos on how to build things, and I won't do that. Now, I am having people request that I do how to videos on how to do home canning. I won't do that either. And in between the spring projects and the home canning projects now, I had people request that I teach uh, how to cook, how how to bake pies and cakes and cobblers, and how to cook in general, how to use my Instapot and so forth. I won't do that. And the reason is why is because of liability issues. We live in an insane world. We live in a world full of people looking for an opportunity to sue someone, and it doesn't take much. And with the judicial system that is in place in a lot of parts of the country now, even if you can prove your innocence, you're going to be found guilty. And so I won't do how-to videos. I have shown a couple of times how I do things, but I made it clear in the video itself that that's how I do it, and that it was not a how-to video. And I did not give enough details to make it possible from my videos on how you could do it. I just showed videos of how I did things, and only a couple of times. And I will do that more, but not very often. And when I do, I'll make sure I do not give any instructions or directions that could hurt anyone or cause any type of liability. I worked in law for a while, in contract law, and in school I read a lot of cases of liability, and I learned from that I will not do a how-to video. I will not write a book on how to do anything. You have to prove to be really covered. And again, in today's courts, it doesn't matter how much proof you have, you could still be found guilty, even if you have proof to the contrary. But you have to prove, uh, you have to provide a disclaimer, you have to have the disclaimer signed, you have to have witnesses to the disclaimer in order to be halfway covered. And I can write 10 disclaimers at each video that I do if I did them, and I could mention the fact that it was not a how-to video, that it was just showing you how I did it or whatever. But without having a paper sign and witnesses sign that paper, you really don't have anything. Because if it did go to a court of law, you'd have to prove that they read your written disclaimer, and you got no way to prove it. You don't know if they did or didn't. And of course, in a court of law, they would either say, number one, they didn't read it, they didn't know it was there, or they could say they did read it, but they didn't understand it, and the judge would find in their favor. So that's why I don't do how-to videos. I used to do a lot of baking. After I retired in 2020, I was single, and I went to a school to learn how to bake. I learned how to bake wedding cakes, and I baked a few very elaborate wedding cakes, beautiful wedding cakes. I don't even know if I could do it now because that was 20 years ago, and I don't know if I could do it now. Well, I guess the last wedding cake I baked was 18, maybe 17 years ago, but I don't even know if I could do it now. But I have made all kind of cheesecakes even recently. I make the best cheesecakes in the world, I think. I make 3 and 4 layer uh, coconut cakes. I make pecan pies. A friend in California told me I made the best apple pie in the world. And I make a lot of stuff good. I make good jellies, except this year my jellies have been a flop, except for my habanero pepper jelly. It is delicious. All the rest of the jelly I tried this year flopped. But I make all kind of stuff. I'm a good cook. I also went to school after I retired, got a degree in culinary arts just for fun, and I'm a good cook. And I could teach people how to do it, but I'm not going to do it online. If I ever do it, I'll do it in person in a classroom setting, but I'm not going to do that. I tried that once for 1 year, and it was like a nightmare. I won't go into details, I won't elaborate, but it was not fun for me. I think the students enjoyed it, but I sure didn't, and the pay was not near good enough for all the trouble they put me through. It was funny. It was young girls and an old man, and it was funny, but they wore me out. They made me dread going to work, and I started it to do for fun, and it didn't turn out to be fun at all. Anyway, y'all, that's why I don't do how-to videos. I know they're popular on YouTube. They're very popular on YouTube. Those people are living very dangerously that creates them. And I know it brings a lot of viewers to their channel. You know, I could slap up anything on my YouTube and put how to do whatever, fill in the blank, and my viewer count would rise dramatically. And if I was monetized, my money would increase dramatically. But I'm not on here for money. I'm not on here for multiple views, even though I want that now that I'm serving the Lord Jesus Christ. I want it for His glory, not for mine. And that's why people do it, or that's why most people do it, I think, in my opinion, is just for the attention and for the money. I won't do that because of the liability. If there was no liability, I would love to teach people how to do stuff, but I'm not going to do it. So that's why, just a quickie for you here, explaining why I don't do how to do. All right, bye-bye.